Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to the channel. In this video, my Lightburn for Newbies series, we're going to do a fairly quick deep dive into the Boolean tools. So we'll just get right into Lightburn and get going. So here I have several shapes that I've created, and if I was to select all of them, over here we can use the weld function. And that basically just gets rid of everything in the center and just keeps the perimeter all the way around. Undo that. Weld will work with multiple shapes. In order to use the other tools, we have to select only two items. So here I'm going to select the two rectangles, and if I click the weld, it does the same thing, does the entire perimeter. Undo that. If I click union, it does the exact same thing in this instance, and I'll show you an instance where it is different here in just a minute. If I select subtract b minus a or a minus b, it leaves this and subtracts the other one away from it. But if I undo and hit it again, it does just the opposite. Now it'll do a b minus a. And then finally the intersection is going to leave just the center where they overlap. Just where the overlap is. But an easier way, rather than guessing and trying to figure out what's going on, what it's going to do, is just bring up the Boolean Assistant, Controller Command B. It brings up this dialog box, and you can just hover over it and see what each selection will do before committing to it. Say I want to do that. I do that and click OK, and it's done. That's the simplest. Now, like I said, it only works with two items, so if I choose three items here, I can't do it. I can't bring up the Boolean Assistant. It will not allow me. But it will work with grouped items. These two items here are grouped together. So if I select all three of those, I can bring up the assistant. When I get subtract, and you notice how it leaves that part there because they were grouped items. Where if they were ungrouped, and let me show you this. If I choose to weld, that whole center section is gone. It only left the perimeter. But if I choose union, this part here is left behind because they're grouped together. So that's one difference, besides the fact that you can do multiples with group or with weld. When you're dealing with grouped items, they will behave slightly differently in group, in union, or weld. So you just need to be aware of what's happening there. Now we got this all grouped together. We still can't do that, but we can do this. Grab two, choose union, grab these here, choose weld or union. You eat the same thing. I don't like that. I want to end up with a shape like this. That's kind of weird, but you get the idea that we can pick and choose what comes and goes. Now let's go into a little more practical example. We have this sign here, and you want the letters to be. Right now, if we cut it like this, the letters would fall out because it's going to cut both, and you're going to have funny little slivers and all kinds of things going on there. But if I take the text and select just the inner, if I choose weld, that goes away. So let's bring up the Boolean tools. Boolean Assistant. Union, it goes away. Intersection, the perimeter goes away. There we only have the overlaps, and that's actually what we want to have in this case, because we want to have the letters tied in with the inner frame. However, if we group the frame and then choose it, now union is the proper function. Intersection is bad. That gets rid of the whole outside. None of these other ones work. So you have to be aware of the situation, what you're working with, whether it's grouped or whether it's not grouped, what you want to join together and what you don't want to join together. And last example here, and we'll show you the same thing here again. Here's fairly common. You're working on a round sign or an ornament or something. Here we have, it says mom. So I select the circle, select that, bring up Boolean tools, assistant, then A minus B gives us what we're looking for. It joins it in those points. Intersection gets rid of the inner circle. Union gets rid of everything in the middle. And weld would do the same thing. So we don't want any of those. But there again, if we do group it, grab the whole thing and group it together, and then select it, now union is the choice that we need for that. So back up here, and I'm going to turn this other layer on now. And in fact, I'll make this red and put the blue layer out of the way. So now we're in this little wreath. If we select the wreath, which this is grouped together, we select the wreath and that, bring up the Boolean Assistant. Union does a very nice job of what we're wanting. Intersection does not, subtract does not, and the other subtract does not. So in this case, we want the union, and that will give us the look we want where it's tied together. So anyway, that's just a quick run through of the Boolean tools and the Boolean Assistant and how you can really narrow down what you want to do very quickly and easily using the Boolean Assistant. It's a very handy tool to have in your toolbox, and I use it quite frequently. So I hope that you've learned from this, and we'll take it away and make your project so much easier to figure out what you want to do there, especially when it comes to like welding text or joining text or things like that inside of other objects. Use the Assistant. You can see what you're doing without committing to anything. It's great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.